You actually have people that you've welcomed into your network that maybe you haven't talked to in 3 or 4 years. They're taking up space that somebody else might be a better fit for, right? So being able to go through your network from time to time and just say, is this someone that I'm willing to invest the time, energy, and effort and put the focus on to get to know better? And then what am I going to do about that, right? Is that pick up the phone? Is that, send them a card? Is that just, send them a quick text or an email, though I dislike those things immensely because they're so impersonal. But the reality is sometimes just, hey, you came across my mind today. I was thinking about you. I just wanted to see how you were doing throughout this COVID situation. And I'm sure you're like me, you're probably stuck at home or with limited, social connection. So I just wanted you to know I was thinking about you. Maybe we can get together and have a virtual coffee or something of that nature. I've had clients just this year that believe that COVID might have been the greatest thing that ever happened to them. A lot of my coaching clients where I work with them, they realize that by putting the emphasis on leveraging their time more appropriately and focusing on that connecting effort at least a couple of times a week has yielded massive results for them because they're putting that time and energy towards the right connections.
That's huge for people to see the opportunity that exists within this, because I hear a lot of people who are making, excuses about, we can't do the face-to-face. And really what you are demonstrating is there is such opportunity right now to build connection and even learn how to do that. You offer a coaching program that helps folks think about the way they ripple. Tell us a little bit about that program.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually 2 things that I do. One is called the Connection Lab, which is actually available on my website at ripplecentral.com. And that's actually a sort of an intensive one-on-one opportunity for us to get together and you come to the table with a handful of connections that you want to, build better relationship with, right? Maybe it's a connection that you haven't quite got the relationship started, or maybe it's something that is kind of stalled out and stuck in neutral. And I have a real strong ability to help people think outside of the box of ways that can help them engage a little bit differently than they've done in the past. So that's one level. And then my coaching program, I've been a coach pretty much for the last 15 years. It's one of the secrets to my success as an entrepreneur is having great coaches in my life and career or throughout my career. So I have loved the relationships that I've established with my coaching clients. I work with individuals all the way up to, executive teams. But one of the things that tends to come up is these repeatable things that come up in every coaching relationship, almost invariably with every client. And one of the things that I found is that even pre-COVID, people are curious about coaches and they have an interest in it, but a lot of people don't have the financial resources or don't necessarily have the time to dedicate to a one-on-one coaching relationship, but they're still curious. So what I did was I took 3 core areas that come up early in a coaching relationship and kind of give people a taste test, if you will, relative to what a coaching relationship would be like. And so I have created this program that has been done virtually. So everything is delivered. You can do it at your own pace. You can come back to it as often as you want, but they're really, intensive sessions that are really designed to get you to think outside the box a little bit in terms of what you're doing with your life, where you want to go with your relationships, and really, ensure that you're doing the things that you really want to do to get the best part of yourself, to the surface. And so the virtual Ripple coaching, you can actually find that on a website, virtualripplecoaching.com, to learn a little bit more about that. But that's a program, and it's a one-time small investment, and it's your program to keep forever.
That's awesome. I mean, I typically don't, push products on this program, but because I've gone through what you've done with rippling and that experience, I think it's so important for people to use this time where we are, homebound and we may not be around people to really dig deep and start thinking about their relationships. And, if there is a goal that you have, typically all of our goals require relationships. Yep. And to move those things, we need people. And so how do you use this time to really begin to start thinking about your LinkedIn list and thinking about people both personally and professionally and characteristics that you want to hone in and develop? This is the time to begin to develop this, and what you're offering and what you bring to the table is something that people can really take advantage of to deepen their connections with people. I know that you're about to come out with the 3rd edition of your book. Tell us about that and how people can get more information about the book.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the book came out, so it's out now. Actually, last on my birthday, January 14th, it hit Amazon.
Happy belated birthday!
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I hit the big 50. So
join the club.
Yeah, it's a great club. I immediatally got AARP mailers coming into my inbox. So anyway, yeah. So it's called The Ripple Effect: Maximizing the Power of Relationships for Your Life and Business. And as you said, it's the 3rd edition. What we did is actually use the COVID time to really kind of put some additional stories, some additional content, and specifically a very specific chapter relative to connecting during these very unusual socially distant times. Because I think one of the keys that I think a lot of people have, I mean, I've heard it. I know you've probably heard it as well. Even my introverted friends are like, I'm missing hugs. I'm missing that interaction. And so we give some ideas and some tips about how you can leverage that. Because the fact that this has occurred one time, it's probably likely for it to happen again at some point in our lifetime. So it's better to be prepared. And when you are approaching these times of isolation differently with a different mindset, it doesn't have to be so isolating, right? It doesn't have to be so lonely and scary if you have a strategy that you're deploying that allows you to stay in front and connected to the people that are important to you.
I love it. And so, I want people to know how they can get in touch with you. But before we do that, how do you do all of this? Because you're juggling your companies, you're doing the rippling, you're doing coaching. What are you, and how are you able? That's a better question. How are you able to juggle all this? What's your key to success in doing that?
Well, thank you. It's a distinct passion for what I do and how I do it. I'm really good with managing my time. I'm very focused. I'm very goal oriented and focused on delivering on results. And I built great teams, right? So they allow me the flexibility to do these things, opportunities that come up to either go speak or present, obviously now more virtual conferences and virtual corporate trainings, et cetera. But, even still, I've got the 2 software companies and then I have Ripple. And on any given day, I get to wear multiple hats, which is really what ticks my box, right? It's the most exciting thing for me because I get to be able to change, mindsets several times throughout the day. And I enjoy that. I really accelerate at that. Some people think I don't know how you concentrate or focus enough to do anything significant, but somehow I've been blessed with the capability to do that. But I'm really committed to changing the world in every capacity, even with my software products. They're actually geared for helping schools, universities, and hospitals build more, responsibly, doing a number of things differently and protecting their interests. And so there's a ripple underpinning to everything I do, even if it isn't directly the ripple effect that I'm promoting or talking about. It's part of our DNA and it's part of our corporate culture in every level.
But I love that you've been able to identify your purpose and your passion, and that you allow that to show up in everything you do. And I think that's where people miss out, is you can do a lot of different things, but what makes you successful in doing that is there is the thread of the passion and the purpose and all of those things. And people look at it and go, oh, you're doing too much. And it's like, no, if this is what I feel called to do, I can show up in all of these spaces and do well because the undercurrent is me. And I am being led by who I am and not being led by, the flavor of the month. This is just what I do. And when you're passionate, you're able to do a lot of different things because you're doing what purpose is called you to do. And so I just want people to take that nugget of knowledge and know that your passion can open up a lot of doors for you to do a lot of different things, and you can still change people's lives in the process. So Steve, where can people find you? Where can they order the book?
Yeah, so the book is available on Amazon. It is also Audible. Actually, I'm working on the final edits for the Audible release, but it's out in paperback as well as on Kindle for Amazon. You could also get an autographed copy if you order it from my website at ripplecentral.com. And then if you're interested, I put out a Ripple Thought of the Day. Just try to put out some positivity into the social networking world. So I'm on Twitter at Rippleon, RIPPLEON. You can also find my Instagram under that same handle. And I would love to connect. And if you do happen to reach out or follow me, please let me know that you found me because of this podcast, because I am a huge fan of yours. I am so thrilled that you actually asked me to be on here. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for this friendship that we've been able to develop.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, you just never know where the best connections come from, and you're proof of that.
You don't. And this is proof of it. I just think the world of you, and it has been a gift to be able to play a little bitty role in whatever you allow me space to be in, because you have just been such an inspiration for me. And you are such an encourager. And I want to thank you for the work that you continue to do to help bring people together and know that we all are in this and we all need each other. And so, Steve, thank you for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Tapestry Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Francois Booker Drew. If you want to find out more about me and what I'm doing, go to drfrancois.com, or you can email me at info@drfrancois.com. Thanks for tuning in to another episode.